All right, your day 10 notes. Follow along. Make sure you guys have highlighters. And then I'll, make sure you're also paying attention to little details because you're going to have to get your information from these questions. Okay. You're going to be creating equations just by reading what you're given. Okay. And each equation is going to be a little different. So pay attention to how it's structured. So, first of all, it says a large pizza at Palazzo's Pizzeria costs $6.80 plus 90 cents for each topping. Okay, so that means that you pay $6.80, and then every time you add a topping, it's 90 cents. The cost of a large cheese pizza at Guido's Pizza is $7.30, and kind of the same idea, but now it costs 65 cents for each topping. But the question is, how many toppings, okay, need to be added to a large cheese pizza from Palazzo's Pizzeria and Guido's Pizza in order for pizzas to cost the same? They need to be the same. Okay, so that's the key thing with all of these is that it's all about making them the same. Okay, so now with this one, the first thing is we said how many toppings. So that's the first thing we want to define is the variable for what you are looking for. Okay, and that is T. We're going to say T represents toppings. Okay, so instead of using X like we always do, we're going to actually use a letter that kind of represents what you're actually looking for. Okay, the next thing you're going to need is an equation. Now, the equation is going to come from the two different situations. The first one is Palazzo's Pizzeria. And remember, I told you that you're starting with 680 and then adding 90 cents every time, right? What does that sound like? That's y equals mx plus b. So that is going to be y equals 90 cents. That's your m. T instead of x this time because we're going to use t plus 680. Okay, so that's the first equation. Okay, the second equation is going to come from Guido's Pizza. Okay, and we're going to basically set it up the same way, except now it's going to be y equals 65 cents times t plus 730. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to, because both of these equations have y equals in the beginning, if you remember, we can make them equal to each other. So now we're going to say we're going to take the first equation, set it equal to the second equation, and now we're going to solve for t. Okay, so now if you guys notice, there's decimals. Okay, and obviously decimals or fractions aren't really something we want to work with. So what we can do is get rid of them. And the way we get rid of them is if you have something like in cents or in cents and dollars, meaning that the decimal is 2 decimal places away from the end of the number, all I need to multiply is 100. If I multiply 100 times all of these, once I distribute that to all these terms, it's basically going to get rid of that decimal. Okay, so then I end up with just 90t plus 680 equals 65t plus 730. So that way I don't have to deal with decimals. Okay, so now first step, I'm going to set up my line down the middle. Then I'm going to subtract 680 from both sides because I want to get t by itself. Okay, so eliminate that. And then 730 minus 680. Okay, that'll give us 50 on this side. And then I want to bring the t's over here. So I want to subtract 65t on both sides. And you guys can always pause the video if you need to, if I'm going too fast. Okay, so now I subtract 65t from both sides. And I get 25t equals 50. And now divide both sides by 25. I get t equals 2. And there's our answer. The answer is how many toppings are needed to make until the cost is the same? Well, just 2 toppings. It actually didn't take a whole lot to get us to that point. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next one. All right. So this is the next one in your guys' notes. Okay. The Frosty the Cream Shop. Let me set up my little pointer here. Okay. So the Frosty Ice Cream Shop sells sundaes for $2 and banana splits for $3. And on a hot summer day, the shop sold 8 more sundaes than banana splits, and then made a total, it doesn't say total, but that is a total, of $156. The question is, how many sundaes and how many banana splits did they sell? Okay, so just like I said before, first thing we want to define is the variables of what you were looking for. And they're asking for the sundaes and banana splits. So first, I'm going to say that S equals sundaes, and then B will be the banana splits. Pretty simple, right? Just choosing the first letter of those of what you're looking for. Okay, now the first equation is going to come from this. Okay, so this first part where it says they sell Sundays for $2. So that means for every Sunday, it's $2. For every banana split, it's $3. So if I can figure out the amount of Sundays and multiply that times $2 and then add that to the banana splits times $3, that should add up to $156. And that's where I came up with this equation. So you can see that the first part represents $2 times the amount of Sundays. The second part represents $3 times the amount of banana splits. Okay, and that gives us that total of 156. Okay. Okay, so now the second the second equation, because you can't solve without having two equations. Okay, it says on a hot summer day, the shop sold 8 more Sundays than banana splits. So, in other words, if I took the amount of Sundays and I wanted to know how many Sundays there were, I would have to take the banana splits and add 8. Because think about it, there's 8 more Sundays, right? So that means there's less banana splits. So that means if I had the amount of banana splits, I'd add 8 and that would equal S. Okay, so then this ends up being my second equation. Sundays, the amount of Sundays is equal to the amount of banana splits plus 8. I could actually also make this Sundays minus 8 is equal to banana splits. That would also work. It's the same thing. It's like, because as long as the equation shows that there are more Sundays. Okay, so now the next step is I'm going to look at the equations and see, okay, what's the best method to solve with? Okay, well, they're not both equal to S or both equal to B, so I can't do what we did in the last question. But one of the equations, this one, is set equal to uh, S. So what I can do is substitution. I'm going to take this B plus 8 and substitute it into S right there. Okay, so now I have 2 times B plus 8 plus 3B equals 156. So now I'm going to go ahead and distribute here. Okay, once I distribute to both the B and the 8, I get 2B plus 16. Okay, now on this side, I've got 2B. I've got like terms, 2B and 3B. So let's add those two up. Okay, so I get 5B plus 16. Then I want to take away this 16 from this side, from both sides. Okay, and now I've got 5B equals 140. Divide both sides by 5. And then we get the banana splits is equal to 28. So that means there's 28 banana splits. Okay, and now if I go back now to solve for S, I just want to take probably the easiest equation, which would be this one. Plug that right in. Plug that 28 right into there, right into B. And then 28 plus 8 is 36. So that means there I have a total of 36 Sundays, 28 banana splits. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so now the next one, Steven spent $33 on eating utensils. Spoons cost $4 and forks cost $3. Okay, so again, let's pay attention here. He spent $33. So that's a total. So total, that means that will be equal. An equation will probably be equal to that because it's a total. Okay, the spoons cost $4, so that's probably one of the variables. Forks cost $3. There's another variable. If he bought a total, again, here's another total. So you're getting two totals this time of 9 utensils. How many forks? Okay, so here's the question we're looking for. How many forks and how many spoons did he buy? Okay, so first let's start off with our variables. Okay, we're looking for forks and spoons. So F for forks, S for spoons. Then what we're going to look at is I set up 4S plus 3F equals 33 because the amount of spoons times $4 plus the amount of forks times $3 would equal $33 because that's how much money he spent. And then it says there's a total of 9 utensils. So that means if I had the total amount of forks plus the amount of spoons, that should equal 9. So that's another equation I can set up. S plus F equals 9. Okay, so now the question is, how do we solve these equations? Well, first, let's rewrite them over here. And again, follow along as you guys go. If you need to pause, go ahead and pause. Okay, so now neither equation is equal to S or F. So I'm probably not going to do substitution this time. What I'm actually going to do is elimination. Okay, because they both have S and F on the same side of the equation and then the number on the other. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get the second equation to be the S down here in this second equation to be the opposite of this 4S. So that means that this needs to be negative 4S in order to eliminate, right? Because if you guys remember, as long as those are opposites, I can eliminate those. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply that second equation times negative 4. Okay. And I could also multiply the first equation, because if you guys remember in the video, I showed you that whatever this number is down here, I multiply up here. So that technically that's 1. But if you notice, that's not really going to change anything. So that first equation, when I multiply it up here, is just going to be the same. The second equation, once I distribute this 4 to the S, the F, and the 9, okay, that will now be negative 4 minus 4F equals negative 36. Okay, so now I can eliminate the S term, or the first term there. Okay, so set up my line. I'm going to eliminate the 4S. Now I'm going to add up what I have left. So remember that whatever you have left, we're going to add it up together. So you add these two equations now. Okay, so now 3 minus 4F, it's negative 1F, and 33 minus 36 is negative 3. Now, divide both sides by negative 1, and I get F equals positive 3. So there's 3 forks. Okay, and now I'm simply just going to take that 3, plug it into the easy equation, S plus 3, subtract that 3 from both sides, and I get S equals 6. So that means I have 3 forks and 6 spoons. Okay, so this is the first video. Once you guys are done with this one, go to part 2. It'll be posted right there in Schoology.